Ping Lacson. I move that he be recognized, Mr. President.
Senator Ping Lacson is recognized to interpolate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the good sponsor of Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 4, the distinguished gentleman from Valenzuela, yield to just a couple of questions, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. President, I would again, it's an honor to receive questions from, I call Senator Ping the budget hawk of the Senate. Talagang hawk-like yung kanyang pagmamonitor ng budget.
Thank you, Mr. President. My first question is, what is the legal effect of a concurrent resolution as compared to a law passed by Congress?
Well, Mr. President, the concurrent resolution will bind both houses, Mr. President. It's true that the law can also bind both houses, but in this case, since this is a resolution, it's expressing as well as binding both houses in the recommendations that are laid forth in this resolution, Mr. President.
And the legal effect of a law passed by Congress is?
Well, the legal effect of the law is...
It binds even the public. It's binding on the public as well as the
yes, Mr.
houses of Congress.
Correct, Mr. President. In this
So,
case, it's only both houses that are bound. Mr.
It is more institutionalized. I mean the law.
Yes, Mr. President. Correct.
I asked that question because I filed Senate Bill 32
Yes, Mr.
in
President.
the 20th Congress. It was referred to your committee, Committee on Finance, and secondarily to the Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation.
Correct, Mr.
And I hope we can collaborate
Yes, Mr. President.
to schedule a hearing forthwith.
Yes, Mr. President. You have my guarantee on that measure, Mr. President. I took a look very quickly on that measure, and it's a very good measure that empowers the public, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a matter of fact, this is the 5th time that I'm filing this measure. I filed it in the 14th, 15th, 17th, and 18th Congress. Unfortunately, hindi po lumalabas sa committee. Walang committee report. So I'm glad that there is now this concurrent resolution being sponsored by unanimously by all the members of this house, of this body. So anyway, my second question is, will the uploading of documents as mentioned on page 4 and enumerated on lines 3 to 26, particularly the written individual amendments submitted by members of the House of Representatives and the Senate to the respective chairpersons, House Committee or the House Committee on Appropriations and the Senate Committee on Finance. Yung po ba kasama rin sa ma-upload ng mga dokumento? Kasi ang practice po natin, even in the House, pa second reading pa lang, may bulungan na. Hindi na take up sa plenary. Hindi po ba ganyan ang ating naging practice? Because it's too tedious, I understand. Because if we entertain all individual amendments on the floor, baka hindi tayo matapos. So, for exigency, para ma-facilitate, ang ginagawa na lamang natin, nagsasabit ng mga individual amendments sa chairman or sa chairperson ng Senate Finance Committee. But ang question ko po is, pati ba yun i-upload natin sa website?
But Mr. President, since the since the committee report of the GAB from the Senate side will be uploaded, we will now see the changes, Mr. President. Makikita natin in to from, Mr. President. So, in other words, we will now have the ability to look at the changes on a very granular basis per PAP, per office, even sub-offices, Mr. President. Makikita na natin ngayon, Mr. President.
I understand that, Mr. President. Ang problema lang doon is hindi natin malaman kung sino sponsor or proponent ng amendments.
Well, Mr.
If we upload it, then we will be able to identify and we can point back to the proponent or proponents of the amendments.
Yeah.
That's my concern. That's why I ask if written submissions of amendments will also be uploaded, so we can identify from both houses, the House and the Senate, sino yung nag-insert, sino yung nag-realign or sino nag-introduce ng amendment para madali makita. Kasi sa ngayon, bulag po tayo lahat eh. Nakita lang natin, bumukol sa isang district. No? From, say, 200 million, bigla na lang naging 15 billion. And we cannot identify. We cannot point to the district representative. Simply because yung iba nagpa-park. And this is a common practice. We all know that. Ano? Particularly yung mga party list representatives, wala naman silang distrito. What they're doing is, pakipark nga dyan, pero sa akin yan. So, yun po yung point ko. Kaya gusto ko, uploaded natin with proper identification ng mga proponents. So, I go back to my previous question. Will it include the written submissions of amendments ng individual members, particularly individual amendments, Mr. President?
Well, Mr. President, we had a long discussion on that. No, I consulted the technical staff, LBMRO, and some of our experienced technical staff. And the way I understand it, Mr. President, some of the amendments evolve over time. And at the same time, Mr. President, when someone makes an amendment, for example, nagdagdag sila, Mr. President, typically it's the chairman that looks for the source para dagdagan yung magbabawas sa iba. And at the same time, the amendments also evolve. Like for example, nababawasan, or just to have the same effect, it's moved to another PAP or moved to another office. So in other words, Mr. President, the original amendment that might not be the same with the final product.
Nevertheless, Mr. President, all I want is to trace back to the proponent or proponents, no matter how many proponents there are. If these are amendments to the amendments, then fine. But we have to be able to identify kung sino po yung proponent or proponents ng amendments. Can we do that, Mr. President? Kasi we are for full transparency. The best or the most genuine transparency is full transparency. Kasi kung hindi rin full transparency, parang ano tawag dyan? Ayoko sabihin ng lolokohan, ano? Pero hindi rin fully transparent eh. It will defeat the purpose, Mr. President. Because what we should know or identify, yung proponent, kasi naandun po yung taguan eh. Pagka hindi ma-identify, back to the proponent or proponents of the amendment or amendments, ano, kanya-kanya tayo singitan na naman dyan, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. President, that's why when we were discussing that internally and I was consulting with the technical staff, because of that complication, my alternative is to make sure that the third reading, first the committee report, Mr. President. Surprisingly, to be honest, for mga ordinary bills, diba, Mr. President, yung mga committee report, ina-upload natin. The third reading version, ina-upload natin. But surprisingly, in the budget, we don't upload the third reading report as well as the committee report. So there's no way to track the changes. So in other words, Mr. President, when we were analyzing the situation, just to avoid complexity in terms of tracking down the documents, we will now upload the committee report. And doon sa committee report, nandun na lahat, Mr. President.
But we
all the final changes
but we won't
will
be
there.
able to identify the proponent of the amendment. Unlike in an ordinary measure or bill that we tackle, everything is recorded. Everything is tackled on the floor, including individual amendments. Kasi nandyan, may minutes tayo. Ang problema sa budget deliberation, nag-iisang measure, pinaka-importanting measure, maski wala na tayo maipasang batas, ito, must pass talaga ito. Ang problema, hindi nga transparent. Kaya na-embolden yung mga ibang, mga ibang congressmen or even senators na magsingit ng kung ano. Anyway, hindi naman matrace sa akin yan eh. That's my concern, Mr. President.
Yeah, I get
if we want to be transparent, let's be fully transparent.
I get the I acknowledge that Senator Ping has been tracking down the budget
Ang
for a
hirap
very
po
long
maghanap
time.
pagka nagre-review, pagka by budget deliberation. Hirap na hirap po kami ng staff namin. Pag naghahanap ako sa yung previous year's budget, napakahirap. Pero kung merong record ako kung kanino nanggaling yung amendment, mas madali ho maghanap.
Yeah. Well, Mr. President, I am thinking kasi of the entire budget process. And I'm anticipating, for example, one of the vice chairmen will recommend. And nakikita ko kasi minsan ang recommendation, kadalasan recommendation pataas hindi ho pababa.
Never mind. As
So-
long as we identify the proponent, then that's fine with me.
So the complication that we see based on my consultation is how do we attribute the amendment, the specific amendment, if there are other amendments that will happen to enforce or to operationalize that amendment?
Then let's track them, Mr. President.
Yung pagkuha ng
Kung
pondo.
ilan yung nag-amend sa amendment at in-amend yung amendment, at least we can backtrack.
I get the point, Mr. President. It's just
It's not really difficult, Mr. President. If we want to do it, it's not really difficult. Because if we upload all the amendments, even amendments to the amendments to the amendments, hindi mahirap i-upload yun, Mr. President.
Yeah,
Especially written amendments, hindi yung amendments on the floor.
I get the point of.
Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's just when we were discussing it. Actually, we talked about that. To be honest about it, Mr. President, it's just how
Tutulong pa ako, Mr. President.
how you
Kung paano natin gagawin.
how you track down the amendments. Kasi minsan isang amendment po may dalawang modification, tatlong modification. That's the complication that I
Well,
see, Mr. President.
At least we can backtrack and identify kung sino yung nag-modify. Sabi ko nga, amendment to the amendments, and that's allowed.
Yes, correct, Mr. President.
So why can't we upload everything?
Sometimes the chairman, in this case, the chairman will also amend that
And
amendment.
then,
Mr.
so
President.
be it. Let's identify that the chairman also amended the amendment.
Well, take note of the proposal. We'll study, Mr. President. It's just how to operationalize it. That's yun ang naging naging.
So it seems that it is not acceptable because sa period of individual amendments, mukhang isa yan sa mga i-introduce ka amendment. Kung ngayon pa lang rejected na, baka
Hindi
hindi ko
naman, Mr. President. It's just how I'm thinking ahead how to operationalize that, Mr. President.
Let's work on it, Mr.
Yes,
President.
Mr. President. I'll be more than happy to
Yeah.
work with His Honor, Mr. President.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. The gentleman from San Juan and Zambales.
Thank you, Senator Lacson. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to